Well, hey, everyone.
Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Michael Gross, and this is
This is to you now.
my cohort on these wonderful podcasts.
He is, you are amazing. You throw me for a loop every time. I just never know how he's going to start out.
Me neither.
But we're really glad that you're taking some of your Sunday night to share with us. We really appreciate your time, and we'll keep this really brief. We are changing things up a little bit, right?
Yes, I'm excited.
Should Michael? Why don't you tell them?
All right. Well, we took a view, and we're on Sundays at 7 p.m., and that worked out very well. But some of the listeners said, gee, sometimes we're out with family, the holidays are coming up, and so on and so forth. So they said, could you change the nights? And I said, sure. So T and I looked at it, and we did a little brainstorming and a little intuitive work. And so, starting the first week of November, whatever that Sunday will be, it's going to be 7 p.m. Pacific time on Thursday. So, I look forward to that, and hopefully, you'll be able to join us. And we'll fill you in more and more. So, for the next two weeks, and on Sundays, it'll be at 7 o'clock, and it'll be Thursday, as they say, in November. So, I look forward to it.
That's going to be perfect for us.
Yes.
It works well for us, and we hope it also works well for you. And if there's comes a time and you're not able to get on, these are recording. We'll keep the recordings up. They'll be on our Facebook page, Michael's YouTube channel, Dr. Michael B. Gross. So you'll still be able to catch it.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and get right to the heart of the matter here, okay?
All right.
Because first, I always introduce Michael. This is the only scripted piece that I do, to introduce Michael and let everyone know who he is and the phenomenal resources that he's bringing to us, okay? So on that note, we're going to talk about Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to also bring forth their intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God the True Source, lost my page, lost my part. In concert with God the True Source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings. I'm sorry. He remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God the True Source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, and has just launched his nonprofit. And I would love for you to
the
share
International Institute of Self-Empowerment. It's a 501c3, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. So welcome, everybody. That's what I do. I slipped her extra water and I made her a special latte, and she's really floating. So,
well, okay, yeah. Shh, don't tell. But it's right on the fold, and I lost my place on the fold when I flipped it. But anyway, our topic today is gratitude is the great attitude. And I'm going to go ahead and let you just take it away, and I'll just interrupt you from time to time.
All right, that works. Well, gratitude is a great attitude, and I thought I'd talk about it because it's so important. I've told this story before, but I want to reiterate it and then introduce more thoughts and positivity and abundance and prosperity into your life. And anything you give thanks for, the universe said, oh, hey, you must like it, we'll give you more. That's an immutable universal law. All right. And anything you kind of turn down and express displeasure with, universe said, that's what you want, we'll gift it to you, it's yours. So understanding that the universe doesn't judge our thoughts, of course, we as human beings do. However, I'd like to illustrate a little story. And one of my students came in and he said he saw 4 or 5 pennies. I said, well, did you pick it up? No, they're only pennies. And I said, do you understand what you're just saying to the universe? No, what am I saying? You're saying that you don't want it. So you're telling the universe you don't want prosperity. And you need to give thanks. So he said, okay. Next week he found 3 or 4 pennies. Following week he comes in, I found $3. Next time he's found $10. And actually found $25.
Right.
And after that we didn't follow through anymore, or he stopped or whatever. But here's the secret. We are receiving gifts 24/7. You have the gift of life, which is the most powerful gift you could ever receive in the human embodiment. Actually, it's the second most powerful gift, the gift of life. The first is love, the gift of love in your life. And when I talk about love, it's love of life, love of your family, love of your children, love of your job, love of waking up every morning and seeing the sun shine. Or even some of us like rain. Of course, you're in the Pacific Northwest. You know, we get a lot of rain in the winter, but I will tell you that through maybe the first or second week of June until like the third week of October, we really haven't had rain, or maybe a drizzle, and that's about it. So, even we give thanks for rain because it makes the flowers grow, the plants grow, we get food from it, and actually, rain, the water will change your endorphins and make it more positive. So they're really very positive things about rain. But the most important thing is to understand the attitude of gratitude by giving thanks. And if you look back and say, well, I never had a good job, I never had this, or I never had that, telling it the universe, well, you never had any good job, you didn't have a good life, you didn't have this, no problem, XYZ, well, give you more of that because you're just complaining about it. Well, why would the universe do that? Ding, 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 call to your attention. What are you thinking and what are you creating? Remember my favorite quote from the True Source: what you think you create, what you create you experience. So essentially, you're manifesting 24/7 a day, and each and every day. So I'd like to add a little dimension, a little bit of a thought. And let's say you get a bill in the mail. Oh God, my credit card bill. Oh, I gotta pay my mortgage.
Oh.
I give thanks to all those who extended me credit, who have faith in me. That's important because they really have to have faith in you. They are rolling the dice, figuratively speaking. You're going to pay your credit cards, you're going to pay your mortgage, your utilities, et cetera, et cetera. So that's really what you want to give thanks because they believe in you. Now you're going to say it's mechanical, it's this or that. Yeah, it is. On the other hand, though, having the great attitude and giving thanks, I remember one time I forgot to pay my mortgage. And, I didn't want to get a $50 fee or whatever the dickens they charge. So I called up, and because not all the time, but occasionally say I give thanks that I have this prosperity to pay my mortgage. And I called them up and said, I really screwed up and I'd like forgiveness. They said, okay, we're not going to charge you that extra fine. Perfect. It wasn't even put on my credit card.
Wow.
I'm sorry, my credit rating. So you see how it works? It works so well when you give thanks for those beautiful souls around you that are assisting you. When you give thanks for the prosperity of being able to have loans, give thanks for being able to pay your bills. Every time you write a check, or you have electronic payment or whatever you do, I give thanks that I have the prosperity, abundance, or money, whatever you want to say, to pay this bill. It's so important. But it also set up a precedence, a vibration, an energy, and a frequency. So anytime I have an outstanding bill, like a mortgage or buying a car, and let's say it's due on the 5th of the month, I always pay it early, and I give thanks. What you are doing is setting up a pattern of energy and frequency and vibration that you will always have the prosperity and abundance to pay your bills early. Now, you don't want to pay your credit card, 25 days early, but you want to pay it, in enough time. You can't pay it on the 25th to do the 25th. You have to pay it, and maybe you can do it electronically that day. But I use checks and I mail mine in. And the reason I use checks is for several reasons. First, I give thanks. I can put the energy more directly into it. Second of all, I give thanks for the U.S. Post Office because I'm creating jobs. I am creating jobs by using the mail. And people don't realize that. But I understand the mail volume has been down because everything is going on, the internet and emails and electronic pays and all that stuff. Although it may be picking up a little bit because of Amazon and other companies. Go ahead.
Thank you for supporting the Postal Service. I'm a retiree of the Postal Service, and it takes those little moments that we take to put a stamp on it and put it in the mail. It gets there, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You're saving a job.
And that's really the way I look at it. And when I go to the grocery store, they have the self checkout, then they have the checker. And I always try to go the checker probably 98% of the time, unless I'm in a hurry, because that's guaranteeing the job. And that's my way of showing thanks for them being there. It's so important for us to realize that. And one of the things we need to realize is that we need to support one another. And that's so important in supporting each other. How do you support each other? You're there when they need you. You make yourself available. You give thanks for them being in your life. It's so important because basically everything is done on computer. And what we've lost is that ability to communicate. In fact, I understand that the children today in school don't even know what cursive is unless it's taught because everything's printed. Would be great if the computers would use cursive, which it does have the ability to do in some of the fonts. But getting back to everything is that we need to show appreciation for everything in our life. Gratitude is a great attitude. And remember, you're telling the universe, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate this. And I believe many of you haven't thought about it. Many of us sit around moaning and groaning and moaning and groaning about this and about that and about this. You know what? Yeah, we moan and groan. Sometimes I do. But there are no such things as victims. I know the psychologists teach, well, you're a victim of whatever you grew up, your childhood or your parents or whatever. No, you're not a victim. What if I were to tell you a story that you had to learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem? And you said, well, listen, I kind of didn't get it in my past lives. So I need to really get it right. So let me see, what's this list I could choose? Oh, I think I'll choose cold, abusive parents that are non-supportive. That's the way I'm going to have to learn it on my own. So you incarnate and you get that type of parent. Well, hey, you're not a victim. You chose this. Why did you choose it? To learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. This woman next to me is a survivor. She learned it that way. We'll talk about that later. But more importantly, we choose our lives. So I give thanks for this life. I have a client had a real tough life. But you know what? She's gone through a lot and she's a survivor. And she's now ending up in her own property, her own house, fully paid for. And she didn't have the money, but she always worked hard and appreciated people. And what happened is the appreciation is another way of giving thanks. And she had this wonderful gift given to her. So we don't know how it occurs. We just know the end result. More importantly, we're coming into days where we're having high inflation. Yes, I moan and groan about the inflation too. And if we look about different situations, inflation means our money is worth less because it takes more money to buy something. So what happens is just giving thanks for the abundance and prosperity to buy your food, and sooner or later you'll have another job or you'll get a raise from your employer. But a lot of people are sitting around, oh, it's greedy corporations. They're greedy. And I said to them, maybe they are. Some are, some aren't, But more importantly, let's see. They pay taxes. Some of them look for every deduction they can when they go to pay taxes. Well, sure. Don't you look for every deduction so you can pay less taxes that's legal? Hello? It's no different. But that corporation on the profit, what do? They make products, they supply jobs, they pay health care, They have a retirement system. And on the profit, they pay a tax. Guess what? As a stockholder, you pay a tax on the profit. Whatever you get as a stock is considered capital gains or profit, you have to pay tax. So what? You're paying double tax. First the corporation does, and then you as an individual. Now, on the other hand, you also pay it in another way. And how do you pay it in another way? Maybe you're a stockholder, but you also have your retirement funds. Where do you think they are in? They're in the corporations. Yes, there are U.S. stocks and bonds, most of it in the stocks and corporation. So what do? Well, if you want to tax them, yeah, they'll pay more taxes. They're going to have to raise the price because they got to pay their employees. They have to show a profit. They got to make sure their stock goes up and pays dividends because that's where your retirement funds are. Think about that. Your retirement funds are in that. So give thanks for the corporations that are making a profit because you know what? It's providing food for you to eat. Many persons don't realize it or don't think about it. And every time you raise taxes, and I'm not going to give you an education on taxes, it creates more inflation. Of course, the corporations have to make more money to pay their employees, healthcare, yada, 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 and it goes on and on. So it becomes a Ponzi scheme because as you raise taxes, they have to make more money, and they're making more money. Uncle Sam goes, ha, 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 we're collecting more taxes. And we fall for that. The other thing we have to look at is I said to a friend of mine that was complaining about that. And I said, what do you think a car would cost or a washing machine if it had to be made by hand? So the economies of scale is mass production. And then I said to her, well, where are your retirement funds? She said, I don't want to talk about it anymore. Well, that's okay. That's what we have to begin to understand. We are an economy that everything has to flow. You can't run businesses or whatever you're doing at a loss. You can't even run your household at a loss because you lose your home, you go bankrupt.
Yeah, that won't last long, huh?
No.
Yeah. Can I throw something in?
Absolutely.
When you said our money is worth less, the first thing I heard was, yeah, but it's not worthless.
Right.
So it's a shift in your mindset, how you're looking at it.
Correct.
And how you can use what you have to make sure you get the most for your dollar, right?
Right. So this is not really a lesson on economics, but I remember back in 1966, we were living in St. Louis, Missouri, and they have up to 110% humidity in the summer.
Yeah.
So we bought a Plymouth Fury 3, almost top of the line convertible.
Wow.
It was $3,200.
Nice.
Nice. Boy, it was great. We had a ball. We loved it. We had genuine Naugahyde plastic seats.
I remember those.
Remember those?
I do.
And if you left the top down and you sat on it in the sun, you had burnt buns.
Yeah.
And in winter, you had frozen buns.
Yeah.
But anyway, we didn't know any better, and we kind of enjoyed it. However, that car today would be almost $100,000 because of inflation. And I remember, as I mentioned before, one of the purveyors, when I was in the delis business, I went down to pick up some chickens, and I got to know the owner and the son, and they had this big thing, and it was around the 1928, 29, 30. Chickens were 2 cents a pound, and steak was 3 cents a pound. No, turkey was 3 cents a pound, and then steak was either 4 or 5 cents a pound. And then my dad said he would go to the bar, order a schooner of beer for a nickel, a huge schooner of beer. They have a smorgasbord. They had turkey, roast beef, brisket, anything you wanted, all for a nickel.
Wow.
And, people would eat whatever they wanted. Obviously, beer at that point was very profitable, which still is today. However, let's go back. What has inflation done? That same steak now, as you go shopping, could be up to, I don't know, $12.99, $14.99, $16.99, depends upon where you're shopping. So everything creates a what they call a payback, so to speak. Whatever we do, we get paid back. We give out love, we get paid back with love. We raise taxes, we pay higher goods for higher goods, and so on and so forth. So, understanding that, how do we combat that? Well, first of all, you can moan and groan, prices are going up, inflation's here, yada, 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 yada. And you're right, no argument. What if you turned around and say, I give thanks for this wonderful prosperity and abundance to pay my bills and keeping those people employed? Universe goes, wait a minute, you're giving thanks for the prosperity and abundance. Click, we'll get you more prosperity and abundance. Oh, you give thanks for keeping people employed. Click, you're going to be employed. Now, you may not think of it that way, but it works that way. It truly, truly works that way. So we have a society today, and the society is that we're depending upon the government. And I just happened to see Ronald Reagan speaking, and he was talking to Johnny Carson. So we're going back a number of years.
Hey, I like Johnny Carson.
Yes, I did. And you know, they were talking about the inflation. He had taken over from Jimmy Carter, and Jimmy Carter, by the way, interest rates were 18 to 21% to get a loan and buy a house. And they asked him, well, what's the problem? He said, number one problem is the problem with everything is the problem with our economy is government. Government is our problem. And I said, that's a famous quote. The problem with government is government. Then the next thing he said, which is really interesting, people are depending upon the government to bail them out, which is alluding to we have our own ingenuity. We can create anything we so desire. Well, we have a certain generation that's either milking our parents or milking the government and thinking the government's going to supply them. Well, the government will. At what cost? Of course, got to come out from somewhere. Got to come out from our taxes. So while I'm talking about this is not political. This is a fact of life. So how do we counteract that? And the answer is that we change our thinking and our mindset. So not only do you say gratitude is a great attitude, I give thanks for my job, my prosperity, abundance, and all those things, my house, being able to pay my bills. But you also think about, I give thanks, here's the key word, for my perfect prosperity and perfect financial abundance. Now, that's pretty interesting. What does the word perfect mean? Good question. It means whatever you're giving thanks for, your perfect job, your perfect prosperity, perfect relationships, perfect house, perfect car, etc., etc. You have to separate yourself from your ego and what your definition is perfect. And you're probably wondering, oh, wait. Well, why would I want to do that? I know I have to have X, Y, Z. No. When you say perfect, guess what knows that's perfect and joyous for you? Your soul. You never thought about that, most of you. Your soul knows what's perfect for you. I know when looking for my house, and I looked at, a ton of houses, drove me nuts. And finally, by mistake, and there's no mistakes, drove by this house. I said, oh, it's for sale. Real estate broker said, no, it's sold. Oh, okay. Called me up, says the deal fell through. You want to look at it? Yeah, I want to look at it. I'm just attracted to it. Don't know why. And it was the perfect house for me.
You do now.
I do now. Of course I do now. It's perfect. But previous to that, I said, I would like the perfect house and everything that suits me. And one of my dreams was to have a fireplace in my bedroom because I thought that's romantic. And it's romantic. My dog and I, she hops in bed when she was around, no longer with us. And we just had a good time watching the fire. Little humor there, but more importantly, yeah, ended up with a fireplace in the living room, bedroom, and in the den, and gas fireplaces because I didn't have one a long time ago. So getting back to what I was saying is, when I said perfect, and those were part of the things that were perfect, I'd walk into Lowe's or Home Depot. There's a sale on gas fireplaces, mantles. Walk over, yep, like half price or less. Okay. So I would buy it. Then I would hear, you're going to need new commodes. Okay. So I'd find it on sale, bought it. Now, all this stuff was put into storage. No house at that time. And there are other items. I go, okay. And I was telling my students, they go, you're not super. You don't even own a house. You don't know what your house is going to be like. Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh. Then I found the house. Everything fit. Everything worked out. There's more to the story, but I don't want to go into it anymore. Except everything worked out perfectly. Then I had a lot of my students volunteer to help me paint it, put in new floors, everything. Like, wow. Everything worked out to be perfect. I didn't even think about new floors or anything like that. But everything did a 180-degree turnaround that was perfect for me. And even to this day, everything is perfect. Because why? I give thanks for the prosperity and abundance. I give thanks for my house. I give thanks for my food. I give thanks for my laundry. I give thanks to all of you who are giving up your time to spend time and listen to the podcast that T.U. and I share with you, because we want to share this with you. My soul says, share these things with everyone. Help them to find joy and happiness, especially in the days to come. That could be a little bit rough, but you know what? Who cares? As long as you got food in your belly, roof over your house, money to pay your bills, you got a little vehicle to drive in, you'll get through everything in your life. So remember, each morning give thanks for waking up. Each morning give thanks for everything in your life. Write it down occasionally, because that will show you you are a great manifester and you are unlimited. Remember, what you think you create, and what you create you experience. I see to you we're running out of time.
Yeah, you want to grab our little
Oh,
sponsor
we
thing?
are. We want
Yeah.
to tell you what this is brought by. This beautiful podcast
Here he goes.
is brought by Healing the Holes in Your Soul.
We don't rehearse this. He always jumps ship on this one. He always gets me first.
And this is a wonderful book she has written about Survivor and like the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's a must read, everyone.
Thank
and I
you.
highly recommend it.
Thank you. And this one, start with this one. This is Dr. Michael Gross's The Spiritual Primer. And his second edition is currently in production. Should be coming out, what?
Well, it'll take about a month.
About a month.
We got to make a little minor changes and we have to proofread it, but we're almost through proofreading it.
Okay. And these make beautiful holiday gifts.
Yes.
It's a holiday season coming up. So if you're interested and you want to learn more, jump back in the next Sunday or Thursday starting in November, because we're going to tell you exactly the progress on this book, the second edition. I highly recommend it, because if it wasn't for this book and this incredible man who's hiding behind my book, that book would have never been written. And I am so incredibly blessed and honored to be part of this with him, and encourage you to come back every Sunday in October and Thursday starting in November, because Michael has phenomenal messages every week. And I'm going to go ahead and in the comments,
Yep.
we'll add all the information in the comments, but we'll go ahead and let you guys also know that, and don't forget, we have to talk about the nonprofit really quick. Okay. But Tuesday, Michael does a call in. So why don't you go ahead and let them know about it?
Words of wisdom. You ask all kinds of questions. It's Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific time to 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And then I deliver a little 10-minute message. And I have to tell you that there were over 253 or 254 10-minute messages, which, if you go to Dr. Michael Gross or Dr. Michael B. Gross, not only will you see this, but you'll hear those messages. They're audible messages. So while you're driving or you're a little frustrated or angry, just pick a number between 3 and 254, 255, whatever, and you'll be the perfect message for you. And how do I know that? Because people tell me. I picked a number. It's just what I needed.
Yeah,
So I wanted to share that.
That's his YouTube channel. And we're also streaming these on Facebook as well. So if you miss anything, you can always go to YouTube, because everything will also be there. Every video that we've done it'll be almost 2 years in December.
Yep.
And He has over, like he said, over 250 recorded messages. Okay. So shall I give the number?
Yes.
Tuesday night, dial in 6:30 Pacific Daylight Time at 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446#.
One more time. It's 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446#.
Okay.
And using the same number,
Wait, the recordings.
well, why don't we?
Okay.
Using the same number, the second Saturday of every month, I have a mass consciousness healing. This is so important, very important, because my goal is to get 1% of the population to reconnect with God, the true source, to manifest their spiritual missions and goals. But part of it is to send healing to this planet, which is an energy of unconditional love. And that number is the same. Would you repeat that?
Sure. It's 202-926-1059.
The access code is 125-446#. So that's Tuesday nights, every Tuesday night, that number and PIN number, and the second Saturday of every month. Now, what we have of what I call the replay, and these are 250 plus messages that you might want to listen to. And the way you access that is
You dial into 434-300-4170, and the
the
code.
access code is the same, 125-446#. And go ahead.
I'll do it again. It's 434-300-4170.
And the access code is 125-446#. So everyone, I want to also just remind you that I have formulated and come up with a new product. I call it a product because it's a life-saving product. And that is the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. It's a nonprofit 501c3, and it's dedicated to helping souls find self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. It has 12 arms, figuratively speaking. The first one is to assist abused women, children, and men. So important that we do that. And it's an awesome undertaking. And what inspired me was Tia Knapp, working with her in her book, discovered she's my sister in a past life. And that's why you see we have such camaraderie. But more importantly, she opened up my eyes to what has been happening with so many souls who are abused. And I asked her if she would mind being the director of abuse, and she certainly agreed. So you'll be hearing more about this, more and more and more. But I want to remind everybody, if you want, get in contact with me. You can make a direct donation to the International Institute of Self-Empowerment, which we affectionately call TIISE, TISSE. All right. So thank you for letting me share that.
Absolutely. The contact information to reach Michael or me will be in the comments section on
Yes.
Facebook, and it will also be fed over to YouTube as soon as I figure out how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we will. We've already got contact info on Michael's YouTube anyway. So on that note,
We want to
okay.
thank you all, wish you a happy Sunday evening, and we look forward to next week. Of course, next week we'll have some exciting things to share with you, and then we'll be on Thursday evening. So everyone, know that we love you, we appreciate you. And remember, you are unlimited. Namaste, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Invite your friends.